What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Tuesday, April 18th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay, guys. So we had a good night last night. All of our batters did well. Our pitcher, not so great. But you know, it's hard to hit them all in baseball. So let's get into this slate here. We have an 11-game MLB slate tonight. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. So I want to save a little salary here. A lot of good bats on the slate. So I like Brad Keller. And he's batting against the low salary batting team, the Texas Rangers. Brad Keller only giving up a .553 OPS versus righties. He's facing 3 righties here tonight. I like this pick because the Rangers have only hit 15 of his last 62 pitches. That's a .242 batting average. He's 8,800 FanDuel salary, and he's 2,200 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. Brad Keller has averaged 34 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 48 fantasy points last game. He has an ERA of 2.12. Record is 2-1. Pitching an average of 96 pitches per game. So I like Brad Keller here versus the Texas Rangers. Now you got a lot of stud pitchers here in good spots. Jordan Montgomery, Logan Gilbert. But I think I'm going to stick with Brad Keller. So let's take a look at the catcher first base position. So I continue to like Ty France. This guy is a consistent producer. He's not overpriced. Still only 3,300 FanDuel salary, 1,800 more on DraftKings. But take a look at another catcher first baseman here. So this is a value play. I like Jeimer Candelario with a 39% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Dean Kramer. Jeimer Candelario batting 46% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .949 OPS versus righties. Dean Kramer, he's giving up a 1 OPS versus switch hitters. No at-bats versus Kramer yet, but I like this pick because Jeimer Candelario, only 2,700 FanDuel salary, 700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored 34 fantasy points last game. He has a batting average of .284, so I like Jeimer Candelario as a value play here versus Dean Kramer. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Nico Hoerner. He's got a 24% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher, Ken Waldichuk. Nico Hoerner batting 24% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .955 OPS versus lefties. Ken Waldichuk pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a 1 point. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy. And we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Excuse me, giving up a 1.2. Where was I? My goodness, my voice. giving up a 1.248 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Waldachuk yet. Nico Hoerner, 3,400 FanDuel salary, 1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 14 fantasy points per game on the season. And he scored 28 fantasy points last game. So I like Nico Hoerner, who has a batting average of .338 here versus Ken Waldachuk. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Patrick Wisdom with a 43% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Ken Waldachuk. Patrick Wisdom batting 43% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.462 OPS versus lefties. Patrick Wisdom pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a 1.248 OPS versus righties. So the splits are fantastic here. No at-bats versus Waldachuk yet. Patrick Wisdom is 3,300 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings. Averaging 16 fantasy points per game on the season, scored 47, 22, and 19 fantasy points in his last 3 games. Scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. Has a batting average of .288. So I like Patrick Wisdom here versus Ken Waldachuk. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Dansby Swanson. And he's got a 10% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Ken Waldachuk. So it looks like you could stack some righty batters here versus old Waldy. So Dansby Swanson batting 10% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .910 OPS versus lefties. We know Ken Waldachuk pitching his worst ball versus righty batters. And Dansby Swanson is 1 for 3 here versus Waldachuk. And that one hit was a home run. He's only 3,300 FanDuel salary. Now he is 2,300 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. Averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. And he has a batting average of .368. So I like Dansby Swanson here versus Ken Waldachuk.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
So I also like Rodolfo Castro. He's got a 29% batting advantage here over a low salary pitcher, Jose Urena, who is just absolutely getting blown up versus switch hitters, giving up a 2.250 OPS versus switch hitters. Rodolfo Castro still only 2,700 FanDuel salary, 500 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, and he's a batting average of .325. Vegas thinks there's going to be 12.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Rodolfo Castro as a value play here versus Jose Urena. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Andrew McCutchen with a 73% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher, Jose Urena. Andrew McCutchen batting 55% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.051 OPS versus righties. Jose Urena, he is pitching 17% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a 1.353 OPS versus righties. Now, Andrew McCutchen is 5 for 18. He's got a 278 batting average versus Urena. It's only has a .628 OPS because those 5 hits were all singles. But he's hitting the ball well versus Urena. So I like Andrew McCutchen. He's 3,600 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. And he scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. 3 out of those 5 were pretty big games, 16, 25, and 22 fantasy points. And he has a batting average of 302. So I like Andrew McCutchen here versus Jose Urena.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.